Hey, so I've had Ableton Move for 2 weeks now, and I've used it to start every track I've made since I got it. So as always, I'm going to share a bit about the process around making a beat, but also I'm going to talk about some of the hidden shortcomings of the device. And by hidden, I mean stuff that you may not encounter until you actually start using it. Not the obvious specs and the features that you can read on Ableton's website. And to be clear, I'm a huge fan of Move. I love it. I use it for every track because its limitations force me to focus on having good musical ideas and content before diving into production tricks like sidechaining and effect processing. And as I've said in my previous videos on Move, transitioning an idea on Move to polishing it and developing it in live is extremely fast, which is one hurdle that causes people to have a bunch of unfinished tracks on their groove boxes. So here are some of these shortcomings, and I do believe that these will be fixed, or at least some of them will be fixed in a firmware update. But I just thought I'd let you know about them in case you are considering buying one right now. And even though I expect these to be fixed, it's never a good idea to buy a device based on expectations for future updates. Trust me, always buy a device only if you are comfortable with what it offers right now. So the first shortcoming is that while the pads are actually quite nice, I like them, but the velocity curve is way too hard, and currently I don't believe there is a way to adjust it. So to get decent velocity, I have to bang on them hard, which is not my style. Or I have to switch to full level, which disables velocity sensitivity altogether, which is fine, but then it would have been nice to have 16 levels velocity, a feature that would make recording different velocities for a certain pad much easier, but ultimately Ableton have to let us set a softer velocity curve where just tapping the pad slightly would get us higher velocity values. The second shortcoming, and I talked about it in my last sampling video with Move, but I'll just mention it again because it's really important for the workflow to get this improved and updated. We need to be able to adjust parameters for multiple pads at once, which is especially needed for chopped samples, as these are more like one single sample spread across the pads. So to have the same settings, let's say for filters or envelopes, or if you want to transpose them, we have to do it one by one, which takes a lot of time, and it really undermines the immediacy of Move, which is otherwise one of the best things about it. So the third problem that I have, and I don't really see too many people talk about it, is that the whole situation with importing your own presets for Move is currently kind of weird. Creating custom presets for Move is still an experimental feature in Live that you have to enable with an options.txt file. Very few devices from Live are supported, and the instrument racks and drum racks you create have to follow a certain structure in order for them to work on Move. Now, while this is understandable, it means that none of my existing presets work, even though I have a preset pack that uses the drift synth, which is one of the few supported devices. The other device that's currently supported is the drum sampler, so no simpler, which is super unfortunate, as being able to import presets that contain simpler would open up the device's sound palette a lot. And even though Wavetable is available on the device, currently you can't upload your own presets using it. That's not to say that the sounds that are already on Move aren't nice, they are. But I still end up using the same few sounds in each project. You may recognize this same bass sound from my other two videos with the Ableton Move. And the fourth issue is the totally bare bones MIDI implementation. And by that I mean that while you can hook up a MIDI keyboard and play, it doesn't support sustain pedal, pitch bend, or mod wheel. And these are actually important for me as their absence limits the way I can express myself musically with Move. There's no support for CC messages from external controllers either, but that doesn't affect me personally as the knobs on the devices are sufficient, but I know some people won't be happy about it as well. The fifth thing is regarding controller mode. I won't go into too much detail as I'm gonna make a dedicated controller mode video, as a lot of people have requested for me to do. But essentially, when controlling live and when you are in note mode, you can't just use the arrow keys down here to select different tracks. You can only select 4 tracks with these buttons up here, select them and record enable them, and then to access more than the first 4 tracks, you need to go to session mode. And yeah, in session mode it's not that bad. You can select and record enable tracks with the step sequencer buttons below the pads, but still being able to select tracks with the arrows left and right, this is the behavior that we've become accustomed to from using the Ableton push. So we would expect to have the same behavior on Move. Another thing that doesn't personally bother me too much, but I think some people may not like it, especially DAW-less people, and this is the fact that the USB-A port on the back of Move can provide MIDI in or MIDI out, but it cannot provide both at the same time. But honestly, Move isn't the typical DAW-less jammer's groove box. It's a special device that provides you with a sketchpad on the go that integrates perfectly with your existing Ableton Live setup, so I think it's not quite intended to be a DAW-less device. But at the end of the day, an instrument is more than its specs and features. You have to actually interact with it to determine how good it is. And Ableton Move is a great example of that. I've already made 2 videos showing that you can actually make good music with it, even though it has some limitations. So if you're not able to get good results with Move, honestly, it's on you. It's not the device's fault. It's more that you probably don't have anything to say with your music, or you don't feel a vibe that you want to capture. Because at the end of the day, music isn't about specs and features and technicalities. It's all about the vibe, the emotion. So if you're missing that, Move cannot provide it. But at the end of the day, no device can provide that. Alright, before we wrap up this video, let's check out the finished track after I finessed it in Ableton Live. So as always, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you want to support the channel, give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet, if you want to get more of these videos into your YouTube feed. And if you want to take that support even further, check out my Ableton Live packs and my sample packs from the link down in the video description. I've got some cool sounds and effects there, especially for Ableton Live users. And so that's all for this video, guys. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.